Okay, so like I said, we're wanting to assign them to a team based off of the state that they said that they were located in. And we also want to send them a marketing follow-up email with pricing information for that specific state in this use case. So what we're going to do first is sometimes, depending on how big your database is, this all happens immediately, and I want to do a branch based off of the state that they're in. But HubSpot may not immediately have processed that information yet based off of the form they fill out. So we want to give HubSpot like a 5-minute delay so it knows what state it's in. Otherwise, it'll just go through here and be like, nope, not Florida, not Mount Alabama, not Mississippi. And though like it actually did have a value for that, but you just didn't give HubSpot enough time to let that, update the record and everything. So we're just going to set a 5-minute delay before we let HubSpot determine anything based on information that they just filled out. So I will do a delay. And this
That's
one
of those things too, that a lot of times people don't realize in workflows, that it happens so quickly. If you don't give the database, especially if you've got a very large database, we've got some clients with over 100,000 contact records in there. You might even want to set a delay for like 8 minutes or 10 minutes on a very, very large database, because you just got to give the system time to catch up. And otherwise it's bam, 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 bam. It's just going through these steps and it never got a chance to catch up to understand what property is supposed to be, what it's supposed to be looking at later on down in the workflow.
Right, exactly. So now that we've given it the delay, we know when we are saying, hey, based off of the state they're in, we know HubSpot will know the state. So I'm going to do a branch based off of the property value that they filled out in that form. And so I had them choose a specific state property value. So I'm going to do single property value. It's all based off of the state. And I'm going to search state. And this is the property field I had in my form, choose state. And my favorite feature of this is it's going to create the branches for me instead of me having to individually do it on my own. So I'll just click next, and it has, these were my options in that field. So I already have the branches filled out for me, and I just click save. And now HubSpot has created my branch. Now it's okay. What do we want to do if they're in Florida? Well, we want to assign them to the Florida team, and then we want to alert the Florida team that they got assigned a lead. And we also want to send the contact lead marketing information for Florida specifically. So we're going to do those actions. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to rotate them to the Florida team. That is also a record management. So it's going to be under CRM, and you'll see rotate record to owner. And we have multiple people set up in location. I'm going to have HubSpot distribute it to the team and based off of round robin for the team on other rules. So I'm going to search my teams for Florida. So I've got Florida, and you can choose whether, if this person already exists in the system and they already had a different contact owner, do you want HubSpot to reassign it to Florida, or do you want them to keep their same ownership? In this case, I'll say, well, if they updated to Florida, I want them reassigned to Florida. So I'm going to overwrite the contact owner if they aren't assigned to them. And I'll click save. And now I'm going to send an internal meeting, or not internal meeting, a notification to the Florida team that they just got a lead. So what I'll do is that's going to be a communications.
We might, though, at this point, want to put one more short delay in there, because again, now we're asking HubSpot to find the Florida team, do a round robin, and now make a contact owner, put a contact owner name in there. So depending again on how large your database is, it may take just a minute, to do that. So you might want to just do a 2 or 3 minute delay at this point, just to let HubSpot catch back up with what you're doing.
Perfect. Good point, Nancy. So now what we're going to do, now that HubSpot knows the owner, we're going to send that owner an internal email notification that they've got a lead. Now, there's two types of ways we can send this internal email. And one is internal marketing email and an internal email. The email notification looks like this. It's going to be plain text, nothing fancy. You can put some personalization tokens in here, but no HTML, no CTAs, things like that. Very simple, plain text email. If it's the case of wanting to let somebody know that they're getting assigned a lead, though, naturally they're going to want a button in there that they can click through that takes them to that record in the HubSpot CRM, because they're going to want to check out that lead, right? You cannot, that is not a personalization token available to you in internal email notifications. That is only available as a personalization token in marketing internal email notifications. So that's something to note between the difference of them. So in this case, I want to do marketing email because I want to be able to add in a link to the contact record, because that'll be considered a personalization token on the marketing email side. But once again, you will have wanted to already create that automated email. Since it's considered marketing, it's got HTML. You create it like you would any other marketing email. It's just, and you save it for automation, but now it's going to search for this automated email in here, and it's just going to be internal lead notification because we've already built this out. And in here, we will have linked to the contact record as a personalization token, so they can click straight through to it. Also, what we get to choose is we can enter in email addresses right here if we want it to multiple or specific ones. I just want HubSpot to send it to the owner. Whoever got assigned as the owner, that's who I want this email to go to. So everything's very personalized, yet I'm not having to do the personalization myself. HubSpot's doing it for me. So I'll just click save, and now they're going to get an email notification. And then I just want to send one more email, and that's to the actual lead itself with the Florida pricing information. So that's going to be under communications again. And this time it's just going to be send email because it's going outside of our portal. Internal is sending inside our portal. Outside is just send email. So we're going to do it for the enrolled contact. Once again, we want this marketing email already created. And I'm going to search for Florida. We have the pricing information for Florida. And I'll click save. And this is done for Florida, but you're probably sitting here like, okay, I have to do all of this from scratch every single time for all of these states. This is where copy and paste comes in, people. So what we're going to do is we're going to just clone this, and I'm going to choose clone this action, everything that follows it. So not just that one, I want everything that I just did, and I'm going to place it under Georgia, and I'll click save. And now all I have to edit is I just click into here, and I just, instead of Florida, I want Georgia. Oops, if I can spell. I click save. You know, the delay stays the same. And then I want, you know, this internal lead notification stays the same because it's all personalized using personalization tokens. The only other thing I want to change is the pricing information. So instead of for Florida, I want it for Georgia. And I just click save. And so I didn't have to do it from scratch. I just had to change 2 things that took me like 30 seconds. And I can just do that again for the next date and so on. And you'll see that
it's the biggest time saver.
Huge time saver. You can see that I can probably finish this all within a minute. If I wanted to go really fast, and if I wasn't sharing my screen on Bevy, it would let me go even faster. So copy and paste is a huge benefit to saving you time, especially when you start having these, what state are we on? Especially when you start having these really lengthy workflows built out and all these different actions you want to do. I'm not going to do every single state because I think y'all get the idea of how easy it is to clone and paste and then just edit those couple of things.